So welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to the first episode of 2018. You'll have to forgive my voice. I'm just getting over bronchitis. I got sick on Boxing Day, and I've been sick right till today. It's been unbelievable. My voice has been gone. I've been hacking. It's been a crazy kind of start to the new year with this cold. It's really sucked. As I say, it was bronchitis. So it got kind of crazy. But I wanted to talk about 2018, what this year is for me and for the show. It is the 10th year anniversary of the show this year. 10 years I've been doing this show, and I wanted to say, I made a video maybe about 6 months back saying, you know what, maybe I might quit the show, maybe just after The Last Jedi or whatever, using it as a time frame, because I'd done it for 10 years, and I was like, that's a long time to do something, and as I just kept doing the show, I just love doing the show so much. It's so much fun. I can't tell you, I'm just gonna talk in general today. There's just something so therapeutic about coming into this little room here that I've been coming in for 10 years and shooting in front of the camera. When I first started doing this, I didn't even want to be looking at a camera. I was nervous about it. It freaked me out. It was one of those types of things. But I forced myself to come in front of the camera because there was a lot I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about a lot of games that people weren't talking about. And, it's funny when I think back to 10 years ago, when I was on YouTube, nobody had shelves behind them like this with all their video games. Nobody did. And I remember I had just quit smoking, and I'd done a couple of episodes of the show with a bandana I used to have back then, and I was setting up all the shelves. And I was like, I just quit smoking, as I said. I just never forget it. And I took all my video games out of the closet. That's where they used to be. I never had a video game room. Never happened. And I bought these shelves from IKEA, and I built all this stuff up. And I sat here, and I thought, I'm going to talk about my video game memories and all that, because nobody had ever done anything quite like that. Nobody talked about memories and emotions to do with video games. That it meant something to them. There was the AVGN. He was doing, his brand of humor and parody on games he hated and stuff like that, which was brilliant. And I didn't want to be that. I wanted to be something brand new. And I didn't know what it was. And it took me quite a few years to get it right with my style. But I remember putting all my shelves up, and I was sitting here and I thought, I'm going to sit here and talk about video game memories with all these video games behind me. Like, people are going to laugh at me. And because I know you look at video game channels now, everybody has their video games behind them. It was a brand new thing, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. That's what has to be noted. Now it's cool to have your video games behind you. But why I wanted to do the shelf with the games behind me was the AVGN was doing his stick, talking about games he hated and stuff like that in a funny way. And I wanted to talk about games that I loved, right? And even the Happy Video Game Nerd, he used to sit in a chair with a glass of wine. It was very different back then. And I wanted to have Earthbound. Earthbound has always been here. This Nomad box has been here for 10 years. This entire shelf, it's changed subtly, but it's pretty much the same. Who has a set for 10 years like this? It's so nostalgic to me. And what I started off just by saying is that I used to be afraid of the camera, and now it's just so therapeutic. When I sit here, I'm sick. But as soon as I turn the lights on and I sit here, I just get this really good feeling. And it feels so wonderful to be in front of the camera talking about things that I love. And a lot of people say to me, oh man, you love so much stuff. And it's like, here's the thing. I only talk about all the things that I really enjoy. I don't spend time, talking about all the things that I hate. And I do those episodes, but they're more humorous than anything else. I'm laughing about how much I hate the game and how much it's kind of nostalgic, that game. I do this show because I want to do a positive show. And that's the kind of person, and that's what I want to emulate. And let me tell you something, in my life, I'm not always positive, and I'm not always happy at all. When I'm driving down the road, I'm a maniac. I'm swearing, I'm angry, I'm all of these things, and I'm not always, it's fascinating. I remember Boogie 2988 said, somebody said to him, oh wow, Boogie, you're not like how you are on camera. And he's like, well, of course I'm not. And I thought that was really interesting. What I project into the camera is all my positivity. And that's what I give. That's what I give. I don't want to come in here and go, oh guys, my life sucks today. I hate this video game and this, and I didn't want to do that. And anybody who wants to do that in front of a camera, that's totally great. But it wasn't what I wanted to do, and it's not what I want to do. I want to do something positive and something that's kept me going for 10 years. I've done this for 10 years, and I'm not bored at all. In fact, this year, I cannot wait for this year, and that's why I want to do this episode, to talk about all my plans for 2018, being the 10th anniversary of the show. And I've got a bit of a list here. I'm going to do some look backs on some episodes that I shot right when I first did the show. I'm going to, watch some of my older episodes and cringe or go, oh my God, it's going to be kind of cool. I haven't revisited a lot of these episodes in a long time. What else am I doing? I'm going to do a live stream on the date that I started the show. And that people be like, well, that's not a big deal. But it is, because I've never done a live stream on YouTube ever. I've done them on other people's channels once in a while, but I've never done a dedicated episode where I just stream. And I've done a Q&A with Rob. I've done a Q&A with Kim. I'm going to do a Q&A with the audience about the show that day on my own for quite a few hours. I will advertise it ahead of time so you know when it will be. I'll probably try to put it on a Sunday. That'll be a pretty good day to do it. And sit there and talk to you guys and interact with you guys, because I can only read comments, and that's kind of hard. I'm somebody who likes to meet people in reality. The typing thing is very difficult just in general in social media. It can be wondrous and completely confusing at times. I'm somebody, when I'm out and I meet somebody who watches the show, what a privilege. It's amazing when people come up and say, oh, I love this show, and I talk to them and I can really, have a bit of fun talking to them about reality. In reality, I'm a reality person. I'm not much of a typing person. I still type like this. I type like this. So I'm going to do a live stream, which will be a big deal because I don't ever do them. That'll be something to look forward to. Maybe that'll be like March, April-ish. So it's still a ways away, type of thing. Here's a weird one. I've been doing a lot of cleaning up, come 2018. And I found a whole bunch of items and a whole bunch of things from the show's history. And I thought, oh my God, look at all this nostalgic stuff of the last 10 years of doing the show. And I thought, you know what? I should do an auction, and maybe some people might be interested in this stuff, because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And I'm running out of space a little bit for things. And so I thought I'll do an auction of all the old Happy Console Gamer stuff that I have, that I think people might be nostalgic about themselves. So that's in the future. That's sometime this year. I'm going to do some giveaways. I've never done that on the show as a way of thanking everybody. I wish I could give back so much more, but I want to give a few giveaways and get in touch with some companies and see if they would want to back me in that. Say, hey, can you send me some games and I'll get to the audience, and we'll see how that goes. I'll get in touch with those companies. I'm going to do a lot more interviews. I want to try to get out of here as much as I can. One of my favorite things to do last year was interview Koji Igarashi of Bloodstained fame and obviously Symphony of the Night fame. That was a highlight moment for me, and it was really weird. I was really nervous to do it, but I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to try to do it, and I pulled it off, and I did pretty good at it. And that's coming from a guy who was like, oh my God, it's Koji Igarashi over here. I was like thinking, oh my God, I was overthinking it, and then I got into it, and it felt wonderful. And I just acted like myself and just interviewed and asked the questions that I wanted to hear, and I thought everybody else would want to hear, and I thought that went really well. I'm going to go to GDC, the Game Developers Conference, this year, and hopefully I can get some interviews down there with some really interesting guests. We'll see what kind of shows up with that. I might do shirts again. I did shirts maybe around 5 years ago plus, and I did a limited run of the shirts, and they all sold out, and it was like a major hit. People really enjoyed getting the shirts, and I've been getting so many requests over the years, over the last 5+ years, to do shirts, and it's always like, yeah, I should do that, and I never have the time, and I think this year I'll try to make that one happen as well. It's so nostalgic for me looking back at the last 10 years of my life doing this show. It has been something else. It has been a hell of a journey. I could sit here for hours and hours and hours and talk about it. You know, making a movie. I made a movie of the show and I was watching it last night and I was like, holy cow, I can't believe I did this. It just seems like from another lifetime ago. And just all the friendships I've made over the years with other channels and other shows, people who watch the show, that is something I never thought would happen as well. And just the Halloween episodes I've done, and I've done over 700 episodes of the Happy Console Gamer Show, and it's been wonderful to have my friends join me on this journey. You know, I had Rob has joined me on this journey, Kim has joined me on this journey, you know, my friend Andrew has joined me on this journey. I'm joined now with Victor Lucas on this journey. It's just been something else. I've been joined with all of you on this, and it's been incredible, all of the things that have happened over the last 10 years. Some of them are like real dreams have come true. They really have. And when I came onto YouTube, here's another thing to explain. I had a list of like 40, 50 episodes I wanted to do. It was a pretty big list. I remember with Games 81 years ago, I said, yeah, the list was about 20 episodes, but it was a lot more than that because there was a lot in my mind as well. I was like, this is what I want to do. It's amazing. This year, there's one more episode that I've got to do. And I've worked with another fellow on it, and it's the last of those episodes, those initial foundation episodes. And that kind of gives me shivers, because I remember coming onto YouTube and I'm like, I've got so much to say. I'll never get through all these episodes that I want to talk about, and I have. And that's a huge accomplishment for myself. It's a huge accomplishment for myself is that I never thought I'd be able to get in front of a camera and talk about all the things I always wanted to talk about. I was way too shy 10 years ago. I was a smoker. I didn't look good. I was like, ugh. It was all bad. And I didn't know how to present myself in front of a camera for a long time. This has been a process for me. And as much as I love, everybody loves the episodes of the show, that makes me so happy. They've internally always been for me to look back on. They're time capsules for me. And I was saying to Rob, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad that I filmed and we've filmed some episodes together talking about some things, because I've looked back on old episodes and we've mentioned things and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. So I think it's very important to do these things. It's been a very self-fulfilling thing doing the show, and that's why I'm not quitting. I like it. It makes me feel good. I feel such energy sitting here. I've created, I know, no pun intended, such a positive like a little thing going on in here, and I love it, and I love projecting it, and I love having fun with you guys. And you know what, we all don't agree on certain video games and certain movies and all of that, and that's totally okay. That's totally fine. That's never bothered me. It's always been, you know, I've never felt bad about doing any episode of the show. I always put an episode out and I stick behind it because I'm like, that's what I feel about it. And as long as I feel good about it, that's all that matters to me. And people can have different opinions on it or what. That's totally up to everybody, and that's great. That's what this life is all about. If we all agreed, life would be completely freaking boring and all of that. And I respect everybody's opinions. You'd be surprised. I respect everybody's opinions. I have read comments and I was like, wow, that's yeah. You know? And I'm always open to listening, and I do read the comments quite a lot, and some episodes they get thousands of comments, and some I get a good couple hundred, which is really, that's nice, because then I can kind of read through it. It's different than the old days when I could kind of reply to everybody, and I just want you to know that I do read some of the comments, and I'm just like, God, people, this is what I want to say to you guys. I read some of the comments, I'm like, you people are so nice. There's so much kindness out there that, you know, I remember like a long time ago when I first got online, like 2000, 1999, 2000, my mom was like, oh, don't talk to people online, you know, I was on forums and stuff like that. She's like, don't know who you're talking to. And kind of put up a bit of a, oh yeah, you're right, the internet's unknown, where I think we come a long way online. And here's the thing to me, 98 to 99% of my experiences online have been great. I've been phenomenal. You know, interacting with people. It's been amazing. People have shocked me. I still have my faith in humanity. And that is something else. That is something else. You know, a lot of people who have YouTube shows, it beats them out. It beats them up. You know, they get some thumbs downs on a video, they get some bad comments, and it rattles them. It rattles them. You can't let it. You know, like, just do what you believe in and enjoy doing it. And, you know, the rest will come. It'll all come together and all of that. And let me say something. In the spectrum of the world, do I have the biggest show on YouTube? No. Do I have the smallest show on YouTube? No. I'm happy with every single thing I have, and for all of you guys that watch, I'm very, very privileged that you guys watch. I'm very, very lucky that you guys tune in and watch my stupid ass. You know what I mean? Not quite literally, but, you know, you watch me, and that's amazing. And sometimes you like the show. That's cool. That's all I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted is to do a show that is a bit of fun and talks about things that I find real and that maybe you guys find real. I got an amazing letter from a person who watched the show, and they wrote me this beautiful letter. I got this earlier today, and I read it, and it got me choked up. You know, just saying how they were watching the show and their experiences watching the show were just mimicked like everything that I talked about. And it's amazing. Like, that's one of the things that I loved about watching the AVGN. I thought I could really relate to this guy. I'm a big movie fan, and I like making movies, and I really related to James Rolfe quite a lot. And that's what was the inspiring thing to me. It wasn't that I wanted to do a James Rolfe show, because I certainly didn't. But it was because of him being him that I thought maybe I can be me. And that's why I decided to do the show. And yeah, it's amazing. I'm still here after 10 years. And you know, I can't believe I was able to do this entire episode without coughing. I haven't coughed yet. It's unreal. Another thing I would like to do with the show, I would love to get a sponsor. But hear me out here. A sponsor that suits the show. Something that suits the show, where I can say, this show is brought to you by Crunchyroll. And Crunchyroll reached out to me a long time ago and said, hey, you know, can we sponsor the show? And I'm like, no, I don't do sponsored episodes. I don't do anything like that. And I still haven't. And because I get a lot of video game companies write to me and say, we'll pay you thousands of dollars. Thousands they offer me. Thousands. To give a positive review or we'll sponsor. And you know what I've always done? I've always turned it down. Because I want to keep the integrity of the show. But here's the thing. I think getting a sponsor for the show that doesn't change the content is what would be great. So I could say, hey, this show is brought to you by Crunchyroll. And the reason why I'm just bringing up Crunchyroll as an example. Crunchyroll is that I actually subscribe to Crunchyroll. I just finished watching Dragon Ball Super every episode. I like Crunchyroll. I like all the selection they have on there. So that's something I could say. This episode is brought to you by Crunchyroll. Check it out, blah, blah, blah. I'd feel okay about that and then getting into the show. And the reason we'd say why get a sponsor for the show? This show has been very consuming for me over 10 years. It's quite a lot of work. And I'd really love to be able to hire an editor and to do a lot more with the show. To go a little bit further with it. And I've never been able to break out of the boundaries of my own world here. And I'd like to break out of those boundaries a little bit more. And to be able to accomplish more for the show. That's the reason for that. Absolutely. And I want to thank everybody who does sponsor the show on Patreon. That really does help out a lot. The equipment alone this year that I went through is extraordinary. I don't talk about that stuff. I keep it behind the scenes. But cameras, microphones, computers that died this year. It's nuts. You wouldn't believe what happens behind the scenes of this show. Even though you're like, what, really? Yeah, there's a lot that goes on. So yeah, I really want to thank everybody who, you know, supports on Patreon. If you've never supported a show on Patreon, think about supporting this one. It's going to a worthy cause. I would like to do a lot more with the show, grow the show a little bit more, to be able to travel a little bit more to conventions and to be able to interview, you know, guests and stuff like that. That's what I want to do. I want to create amazing content. Amazing content. I had a great year in 2017. I want to have a better year in 2018. And I want to really accomplish some dreams and really bring some incredible people on here. And let me say, you would be blown away if I told you who I was talking to behind the scenes. And I can't promise anything, but I might have a couple of really big guests this year. I may and I may not. Can't promise anything yet. But that's something I'm working on behind the scenes. We'll see how that goes. But I just want to thank everybody for the last 10 years. Even if you just watch the show, you tune in, maybe tune in once a year, maybe tune in a couple times a week. I want to thank you for being there through this journey, and it's been a journey together. Absolutely. So anyways, guys, until next time.